When was the last time you were a party to a civil court case? Did you go through the whole trial or did you settle in pretrial? If you are in Israel, most likely your case ended in a pretrial settlement. So, if this is the case, and if judges are no longer mostly judging and writing verdicts, what exactly are they doing? In our 5-year ERC research project, we set out to answer just these questions. What are judges doing in the courtroom when most cases settle? So, it turned out that we are living in the age of what has been called the vanishing trial, when settlement agreements far outnumber written verdicts. This decline in civil trials has been traced back to the end of the Second World War, caused by enormous caseloads and the need to use judicial time efficiently. Our research that took place in Israel, England, Wales, and Italy showed that this trend has increased in recent years and that judges use a host of techniques to encourage parties to settle. In Israel, we looked at over 400 pre-trial court hearings where we found out that judges used a mix of techniques to encourage parties to settle. And here we found out something very interesting. While judges use 13 types of soft forms of power to convince sides to settle, it was all done in the shadow and under the authority of the law, since these same judges will preside on the case in which they promoted settlement during pretrial. But before we go into that, let's see what are some of the main things judges are doing in court. So, in 70% of hearings, judges litigotiate. They encourage negotiation between the sides. In 42% of the hearings, they give predictions, evaluating what they think they will decide if the parties will go to trial. In 37% of the hearings observed, they use procedure. For example, scheduling the next hearing at a date that will allow time to negotiate or that will pressure the parties to settle quickly. In 27% of the hearings, they use alternative dispute resolution techniques, such as addressing relationships between the litigants or proposing an apology as a solution. They even use humor in 10% of the hearings, joking about themselves, saying that if both sides are equally unhappy with my opinion, said one judge, it inevitably means it's a good one. Or they tell parties about the tricky place of the truth, saying that every now and then I meet people who are not afraid of the truth simply because they did not know it. And even if they would see the truth in the street, they would not have recognized it. But perhaps the most interesting thing we found, and despite what we thought we would see in the courts, is that judges are doing much of these techniques under the authority of the law by applying pressure to settle. And while judges are using practices taken from the world of alternative dispute resolution, they are nevertheless focused on more coercive and external application of the law. Thank you.